So to think of another rescue effort in Spain going forward after the 7.7 magnitude earthquake, your heart goes out to everybody who's working on that pile. We also have new details from somebody who survived this, Becky, who was inside the structure. And to your original question, a 30-story building, it was being constructed by a Chinese engineering firm, according to the reporting from Nectar Gan, our colleague in Hong Kong, and Yang Xiang, who's working on the story with CNN in the United States. They report, according to records they've been able to dig up, they've been able to find out through the course of their efforts, that this was a building that was topped out. The structure was finished construction. It reached its height on March 31st of 2024, last year. And the finishing touches were being put on this structure, heralded by the social media postings of this Chinese engineering firm, and those posts have since been taken down. The person who was inside, though, said that he felt the shaking. He felt dizziness from the structure shaking, and he told everybody to run. And then he sees pieces starting to fall down, and then seconds later, he is barely out of there when the entire structure comes down around him. And he apparently went back to the site and is very emotional, just checking my notes here, knowing that members of his team are still missing. So we spend so much time because Tom, our previous guest, the special rapporteur, was talking about Myanmar. This is certainly a center of gravity in this extremely cosmopolitan setting that has never seen anything like this in this generation. In the hours to come, certainly teams are going to be hoping for a miracle to pull people out of there.
Yeah, absolutely. Mike and the team in the region, thank you.
With us now is someone who saw that all happen, Jack Brown in Bangkok. Thank you so much for being with us. Just tell us what you experienced, Jack.
Hi, John. Yes. So I left my office on the way to a client visit around about 2 p.m. and we were on the elevated expressway heading into central Bangkok. And around about 1:30, I thought perhaps one of the tires on my car had a leak or something, burst, because the car was sort of driving strangely. And I started to notice everyone around me on the expressway, even though it's a 4-lane expressway, people were slowing down, driving haphazardly through different lanes, pulling into the left, onto the hard shoulder, of which I did as well. And he realized when the car was actually stationary that, hang on a minute, this isn't a burst tire, this is an earthquake. And I noticed people getting out of their cars, everybody was looking around, bewildered. Couldn't quite make sense of it because earthquakes don't really happen in Bangkok, and since I've been living here for 10 and a half years, I haven't experienced an earthquake here before or anything similar. So I think largely people didn't know what to do. And as we tried to make our way out of the congestion, the building that you'd seen in the video clip there had just collapsed, just came down right in front of us on the left-hand side. And my immediate thought process was that that's an active construction site. It's a big building, probably at least 30 stories, and it just came down within seconds. And I knew that there would be people in there working on it. And of course, it's tragic. I mean, latest reports, I think there are still over 80 people unaccounted for. Numerous people have died already, and no doubt there will be more fatalities. Very tragic.
That building collapsed. The video is extraordinary, and there is great concern. There are still people trapped underneath the rubble. I know that it's been very difficult to move about town since this earthquake. Have you seen other destruction, other things that other search areas into the city?
I mean, ever since that happened at 1:30, it's now 4 minutes past 7 p.m. local time. We've just been in horrendous traffic, stuck in the city. Only in the past half an hour have we sort of been able to get out onto the roads, getting out of Bangkok and break away free from the congestion. But what I've seen during this time, I'm a passenger in the car, I'm not driving at the moment, by the way, but looking through social media, a lot of people in damaged buildings, condominiums, apartments, hotels. I've seen a lot of damage, cracks, and things like this. People sharing their personal experiences. But what I noticed downtown Bangkok was everyone obviously vacated the high-rise buildings, shopping malls, hotels, offices, and apartments in a hurry. People weren't prepared, weren't planned. An earthquake was announced. Everyone just came downstairs into the blazing heat, which is over 39 degrees centigrade. And I could tell people weren't prepared for it because some people weren't properly clothed or wearing footwear. I don't think people bought handbags, phones, and anything like this down. It was just sort of get down from those high-rise buildings as quickly as possible. And it stayed that way for the hours that we were congested in central Bangkok. People were just sat outside waiting, not knowing when will it be safe to return. Does the building need to be checked for structural integrity and things like this? So it's only now, I think, they're telling people they can return to the buildings that have been checked. A lot of bridges and structures also need to be checked for any structural issue, and most paramountly for people's safety.
And if this is happening in Bangkok, where there's obviously more secure infrastructure, what are your concerns about Myanmar, which doesn't nearly have that level of infrastructure?
I mean, I'm only seeing a lot of the news which is immediately in Thailand. I haven't managed to get onto social media much because I've been sort of sharing and driving and stuff, but I think given the fact the epicenter was in Myanmar, the damage must be absolutely devastating, and I'm sure it's affected so many people's lives. I'm just wishing everyone pulls through, minimize fatalities.
Right.
If anyone can support anybody that requires help, I hope everyone can come together and help that. And I hope that there is enough light shed on Myanmar. Sadly, Thailand is a big tourist destination. It might get more limelight than it does, more spotlight, than it does Myanmar. But I hope people are looking in and seeing how people are getting on there too.
All right, listen, Jack Brown, please, you and yours, stay safe. Thank you so much for giving us this eyewitness account, this update from the ground of what's happening after this 7.7 magnitude earthquake. All the best.